it's Day the Nerd here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below to get all the nerdy content you'll ever need every Wednesday and Saturday. I'd like to first apologize for not making a Wednesday video this week. I had a lot going on with school and I just didn't feel up to it, honestly. But I will be back to making Wednesday video next week, hopefully. But today, instead of a ReZero video, we are doing my monthly favorites, which is what I do at the end of every month, and I discuss my favorite things from games to anime, movies, whatever, that I watched or played or read that month. And first, we're going to be talking about anime. Now, last month I mentioned a bunch of weekly anime that I've been watching, so I won't be talking about that this time, but there is a non-weekly anime that I started a couple weeks ago that I really like, and it's called Given. It's about these adorable boys in a band, and it is a yaoi, which is a boys love anime, so yay! I love that. I love yaoi. I love gay stuff. Just do. There's not enough LGBT representation in anime, and it's always exciting to see it in one. And the boys are all adorable, and the love story is adorable, and I'm really liking it so far. I normally don't like animes that involve music. I find them quite boring a lot of the time, but this one I'm really enjoying, probably because of the boys love aspect of it. But it's really good, and if you like boys love, you like music, any of those things, I highly suggest it. It was a short, like, 11 episode thing, and then there was a movie that I think just went on Crunchyroll recently. I'm not very far in the anime yet because I've been distracted with the weekly animes and playing video games and stuff, but I will get back to it eventually, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And next, I'm going to be talking about video games. Now, the one game I'm going to be talking about is Persona 5 Strikers, because it's all that matters to me right now. And Persona 5 Strikers is a sequel, essentially, to Persona 5, which, as you know, if you watch my other monthly favorites videos, I have mentioned before as being one of my favorite video games of all time, specifically Persona 5 Royal. Now, this is the sequel, and I've been waiting so long for this. I've been counting down the days, and I pre-ordered the digital deluxe edition so that I could play the game 4 days early, and I literally marathoned it and finished the game before it even had its general release for the regular edition, because I literally marathoned it in 3.5 days, constantly. And unfortunately, it is a much shorter game than Persona 5 Royal, which makes sense because it's not the same kind of game. Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal is a turn-based strategy game with a lot of social aspects and stuff, and this is a sequel. And in the sequel, it wouldn't really make sense for you to do the confidant thing again because you already had your relationships maxed and, you know, gotten to know these characters in the first game, so that wouldn't really work. And in this game, it is a Musou game, which means that it's a hack and slash with waves of enemies type gameplay. And in this, while in Persona 5 Royal, you had a party, which always had to have Joker, and you could choose who was in your party, and you had the option to make the combat decisions for each character in your party. In this, you actually can walk around the metaverse as the different characters in your party, and you can exclusively, if you want to, fight with one of the other Phantom Thieves, and you don't have to always run around as Joker and things like that. And it's really fun getting to walk around the environments as the different characters. And obviously Joker still has to always be in your party, but it's really fun to be able to decide, for this fight, I'm only gonna play as Yusuke or Makoto for whatever reason. And it's really, really freaking fun. I love the gameplay. Honestly, like, I love it just as much as the gameplay in Persona 5 Royal. I love them both for different reasons and the different things that they bring to the games. And I don't think that it's really fair to pick a favorite of the two because it's really what your preference gameplay-wise is for games. But I personally like them both equally for different reasons. For me, hack and slash personally is a little easier for me because I have the option to, you know, dodge and run away and things that you don't really get from a turn-based game where you're just standing there. But I love both of them for different reasons. And it didn't bother me that there was no social, like, really any social related things because, as I said, we already got to know the characters. And also, it's a shorter game for that reason, that you're not having the confidants and going to school for months at a time. It's just a summer break road trip. And honestly, I loved it. It was everything I could have ever wanted. I honestly love it as much as Royal. And that kind of makes sense because it is essentially a sequel to Persona 5. And if you loved Persona 5, who wouldn't love getting to go on a road trip with these characters that you got so close to in the first game? And it's honestly everything I ever wanted. Like, I was worried that it was just going to be a fun little, you know, sequel with not much depth, but I still would have had fun because I got to see the Phantom Thieves again. But they honestly created a story that I love pretty much as much as almost as much as the first game. This one character, Zenkichi, he is almost on par of being one of my favorite characters, almost on par with Akechi, and I freaking love Akechi. So it's a really good game. All the new characters they introduced are all great. I love all of them. Atlus really knows how to write characters. I've never hated a single character that they write. And honestly, if you're on the fence about Strikers after playing Persona 5 Royal, I really, really suggest it because I honestly think it's just as good. Anyways, that was my ramble on Strikers, but anyway. The other stuff this month was movies. And there are two movies that stand out to me this month. The first, obviously, being the final To All the Boys I Loved Before movie, which is called Always and Forever. And I've read all the books, I've watched every movie as it came out, and I was really excited for this, though have to admit that this is my least favorite book in the series, just because all it's about is will Lara Jean and Peter go to the same college together. And while that is a very relatable thing for high schoolers, I don't find that drama very interesting in and of itself. Because it's just not like go to whatever college you want to, you know, like there just wasn't enough drama exactly. The first one will always be my favorite because it's the setup of the characters getting together, and that's always my favorite part of a romance is the will they won't they aspect. But I still really did enjoy it because it was a huge love letter to the series and the characters, and a lot of the scenes were really gorgeous, and I really did love it a lot. It's just was definitely my least favorite of the books, but I'm sad to see it go, and I kind of hope they do spinoffs because I really miss those characters already. And then the other movie I watched was Happy Death Day. Now, I really like slasher horror movies like Scream, and this movie was definitely an homage to Scream for sure. If you don't know, it's about this girl in a sorority in college. It's her birthday, and she keeps dying over and over, keeps dying on her birthday, and has to relive that day over and over again until she stops the killer or figures out who it is. And it was really interesting, and they did a really good job at not making you not know what's going to happen next and who the killer could be and stuff like that. I never guessed it, and they just did a really good job with the twists and turns in that movie. Finally, I'm going to talk about TV. And this month, the only TV that I really care about is WandaVision, which obviously I don't watch it if you haven't seen all the Marvel movies because you're going to be very confused, I think. But Wanda and Vision is obviously about Wanda and Vision and their relationship together, which is one of my favorite things in the Marvel universe. Love them. And I'm really, really, really liking the show, and I can't really say much of anything without spoiling it because it's better if you know nothing about it when you go into it. But if you love Marvel and you've seen if you've seen enough of the Marvel movies to know the story of Wanda and Vision and the stuff with Thanos and stuff like that, enough of it, go ahead. It's really freaking good, and I can't wait to see how it ends and what Marvel has in store TV-wise and movie-wise next. And that is all for today, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.